Good evening. We are going to just give it a few seconds to see who might join us this night. And our topic is something fun. The title is Does Size Matter? And normally, when you think about taking pictures, you do want to have a larger size file. So I want to just show you something real quick before I officially start our program tonight. You know how you get those little printouts from events where they have photo booths and you love these. These are like souvenirs or memorabilia, and sometimes the photos are really important. Well, I had this taken back in October, and I was experimenting with pictures, and I ordered a version of that picture. I thought I had cropped it, and I ordered an 11 by 14 copy of it, and it came out so beautiful. Like, it's a really good photo. And I was like, how is that possible? This is a mystery we are going to explore a little bit together tonight. So with that being said, I would like to welcome everybody to Live with Mollie. It is Tuesday, February 26th, and I'm just going to go into the chat area here. Please feel free to let me know where you are watching from. It'd be great to know. And of course, on every Live with Mollie, which I aim to have on Thursday evenings at 6:30 Central, you can ask questions and go ahead and throw them in the chat, and I'll get to them towards the end of the program. I would love for people to just say hi, because then that lets me know you can hear me. And I have to say, I'm running a little bit by the seat of my pants tonight, because last week we went on our cruise to the Bahamas. It was our great photo journey, and I'm going to just give you a quick glimpse of some of the things that we did. Let me just share my screen here and get you up to seeing some of the photos that I have started. Well, I actually saved them every day on the trip. I uploaded my pictures to forever, and here you can just see we went on a photo walk, and my friend Krista gave people photo tips, and we had a great time. The day 3 and day 4 we were at sea, so we had classes. I only have one photo from the 3rd day, but on the 4th day we definitely had more time for some classes on saving photos. And I just really can't say enough about bringing people together who love their photos like we do. And if you're here on my channel, I'm thinking it's because you love your memories and you want to enjoy them too. So we had a great time. We are planning to have a 2027 cruise in January. Krista's planning the details, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you about that soon. Now, I am so glad to see Patricia, you're here from Nashville. That's awesome. And Dolores, good to see you here from Tucson. Thank you so much. And I have to just mention that tonight I have not done my pre-check, so I'm so glad that you guys can hear me. And I'm using a different microphone, so hopefully it's okay. All right, a few pieces of housekeeping for tonight. If you are catching this on Spotify, you definitely want to go over to our YouTube channel and watch us live there. I do share visuals and things that might help you kind of learn from some of the things that I talk about. I also wanted to just let you know that we do have a couple upcoming events, and one of them is Thursday, March 12th. That's 2 weeks away from today. I'm doing a live call, Forever Question and Answers, and so we won't have Live with Mollie that week. So the next program here, where you can come in and ask questions and learn from a few of the topics that I talk about, will be March 19th. So we are missing next week, March 5th, and that is because my son will be graduating from boot camp, and I'll be in Cape May. All right, while you are watching tonight, this is a perfect time to scroll through your phone and delete some photos you know you'll never need again. Okay, we always want to be thinking about deleting some pictures so that your photos, you know, are easier to manage after a period of time. And we are coming to the end of February, so that means it's time to save February's photos on Sunday. And one of the ways that you do that is you go and delete the things you'll never need again. Photos for information, screenshots, things you're going to buy and maybe did buy or didn't buy. Just get rid of the junk, and that's a great start. Okay, let's talk about what size photos should be. You know, when I shared my example, and here, to get an 11 by 14 print of a picture, you do want a picture to be fairly large size, I thought, all right? So I'm gonna just share my screen here, and I've got a few things to show you, because over the years, we have had situations where people think they have the picture the size they want it, but when they go to get it printed, it's pixelated. So we're gonna kind of cover a few different aspects of this dilemma that can occur to people. And that's what I really thought I was facing when I ordered this print of my son. All right, here it is. I'm going to share my screen here, and let's put me to the side there. And this is the actual photo from the photo booth. Like, you get the printout, and you can see here it's 240 kilobytes. And this photo here is what I had printed. And I tested this around Christmas time. One of our clients wanted to she wanted to know how something would print. And so I thought I cropped this picture, and then I ordered the print, and I ordered it from Forever, which it did take a little bit to get here, but the quality, it was so outstanding in an 11 by 14. I'm like, well, does size matter anymore? Because, you know, with AI, you think, well, maybe things are just getting better and better for our photos. And so I wanted to explore this a little further, because typically we want pictures to be a certain size. So if this is 240 kilobytes, all right, and I always like for people to kind of start being familiar with photo sizes, all right, so 240 kilobytes, remember that number, because I have a nice chart here, okay? On the right-hand side, you can see I have a grid. And 240 kilobytes comes into this small area. It may be possible to make a 4x6 print. And I was like, what? How is that possible? How did I crop this picture? And I mean, I would have had to have cropped it to be a portrait, and it printed an 11 by 14. And I just wasn't sure. Sometimes, you know, when you're looking at photo sizes, you'll also see something called pixels, all right? And pixels are more typically what's associated with people who are wanting to print pictures at a certain size. So if an 11 by 14 is huge, 3300 by 4200. So you can, let's just look back here. Here's my 240 kilobyte, you know, photo grid, and it was 600 by 1800, the whole thing. What is going on? I just was like, how could I have this beautiful print? So when I look at the actual, let me just see if I have that. Whoops, I don't even have it here. When I look at this print, I have it saved in my Forever account, and it's actually around 340 kilobytes, and I can't explain that. But I thought, you know, I should probably tell people a little bit more about, like, how I got this picture, okay? And so I'm gonna just exit out of my little presentation here, and I want to tell you that I got it because the company that was there taking the pictures actually sent us a link, which is I don't know how I did that. All right, so you just stick with me. I'm going to open up my iPhone, and hopefully this time it's going to work. All right. I went back to my text messages. So that night this was at a wedding of my dear friend Christy, and I went back to my text messages. So when you're at an event and you want these pictures, you always want to get the digital versions of it. And I actually still had the text message in my phone. So let me just show you here. Here is my photo, and I'm going to click on it. And what I realized, because I was just looking at this today to talk with you guys about it tonight, I realized that the company let me download the full version of the pictures. And of course, this was back in October, and me being me, I downloaded those photos immediately to my phone, and I had the full version of the picture. And it's not like it's a huge quality picture, but it was way bigger than the 240 kilobytes that I thought I was working with. So this is the photo that I actually ordered the 11 by 14 from, and it came out really nice. The moral of the story is I think when you're at an event and there's a photo booth, put your email in or your text, your phone number, so that you can get the pictures. And then you can actually get a photo printed that's really substantial. And one thing that I'll say is that I love this photo. This is, my son who's in boot camp right now, and he left December 16th, and it means the world to have this big version in my office. And what's really interesting about this picture is my son essentially has assumed the pose. Now, I don't know how many of you are like crazy at family events for taking pictures, but I have been. And, I always am positioning people, telling them to, face a certain way, to be smiling. And at some point, my husband started going along with the game, and he would tell Alex, smile for your mother. And so he started doing this thumbs up thing. And it really just meant a lot to me. And what I want to just tell you that he's had a tough time at boot camp. He's been there since December 16th. And we were able to talk with him this weekend. And he had Liberty, and he was able to use his own phone. And sure enough, I said, and I was snapping pictures. You know how you can do screenshots with your phone? I was snapping pictures while we were on FaceTime. And I've got a bunch of them, but it was while he was talking. And, he was talking, wasn't looking right. And I said, hey, could you just smile for me so I can get a nice picture of you? And there he is, thumbs up. And he's going to graduate next Friday. I'm so excited. It's taken him like 13 weeks, and it was a little iffy there. But this kid's going to really make us proud in a week. Unless something, goes awry and he gets reverted again. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. So anyway, that is what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, is size does matter. And you can watch your photos, to be a certain size, and then order the size that you want, okay? And it's just so rewarding when you can, have a picture printed that you like. And I know I have clients who are like, tell me how to print photos. And you would think it would be so much easier, but you have to have an app or the computer, and you upload them to the place where you're going to order from, and you can crop and all of that. It is really worth it sometimes to get a picture and print. In fact, Krista, who is the photographer that we were on the cruise with, she prints out all of the photos that she loves every month, and it goes into a photo album. Printed photos really are, you know, special, especially in this day and age. So that's what I wanted to tell you, just a little bit about that. And if you have a photo that you love, get the digital version immediately. All right, so let me now, I'm going to transition to a couple questions that have come across my radar. And let me just put this up there. And again, if I am talking about a program you don't use, just zone out a little bit and delete some pictures. It is crazy how many different like scenarios and variabilities that are out there with people and saving pictures. I learned that on the cruise. We had people who were using Google, Apple, some had PCs and an Apple phone, some had Google and no computer. It's you know, there's a lot of variables. So if this doesn't make sense, scooch on to the deleting pictures. All right, let me bring the question up here. This one's a little interesting for people who use Adobe Bridge. Adobe Bridge is a program that allows you to reorder digital pictures, rename them. You can add metadata, and it's a bit of a complicated program. And usually, like I always say with programs, you're going to use just a few of the features on the program, and then when something, you know, kind of goes out of the norm, you don't know what to do. And that's what happened to Mary this week. She was renaming a big batch in an album, and she must have hit something that she shouldn't have. And don't we all do that? Like, one of the things that I hate doing is I've got a bunch of pictures that I've selected on my computer, and I accidentally hit copy and they all appear there. Anyway, she realized that her desktop, like the whole image didn't look right, and she had a list of albums from her taskbar and the desktop. She can't figure out how to reset Adobe Bridge back to its original settings, and this would be frustrating. So let me just show you what we're looking at here. This is Adobe Bridge, and of course I always tell people to be aware of the left-hand side of most programs because it'll show you your favorites and your folders. In the center generally are the pictures, which I'm showing you just a couple more from our cruise. And in the right side is a preview area and metadata and keywords. This generally kind of follows the layout of Windows File Explorer. It looks a lot different, but there's usually patterns that you can see. Now, if these areas get mixed up, and Adobe Bridge allows you to customize your screen. So I could move this favorites area down here. I could accidentally close this and it would just be blank. And it gets confusing because, well, Adobe really allows people to customize their software and to show what's important to them. This is called the workspace. So I have selected workspace in the menu, and then I click on Essentials to get me back to this view. All right, so that's something that people who use Adobe Bridge, you know, a little bit for renaming and reordering pictures or maybe converting hike files. The workspace is the area to click, and then Essentials. So I'm hoping that helps Mary, and I'll find out later because I don't think she was able to join us live tonight. All right, that was that question. Now, this one was a really good question. I think it's from a gal named Debbie, and she has around 150,000 photos in iPhoto saved in iCloud. So she's an iPhone user and a Mac user, and her photos from her phone, you know, go up through iCloud and then probably are available on her Mac computer. First of all, 150,000 photos is a massive amount of pictures. If I like try to do the math, let's just say that's over 20 years. Pulling up my calculator here, and 150,000 photos divided by 20 years is 7,500 photos a year. Let's divide that by 12, and that's 625 photos a month. Now, 625 photos a month is high on my range, but everybody's a little different. I will say 150,000 is a lot. The question that she has is more related to getting more pictures on her phone. So she loves the facial recognition, the Apple Photos app and iCloud. The facial recognition is really nice. And she likes the videos that are made from her photos. So Apple iPhones, you know, just create these videos of photos, which are enjoyable. You could lose hours on watching them. And my mother-in-law has. Now, Debbie's question is, can I use PhotoMine and iPhoto together? So I have a couple things to talk about here. First of all, iPhoto is an old name. It's really the Photos app. It would have been easier if they would have just kept it to be iPhoto, but they didn't. It's Apple Photos now. All right, so I want to be clear that we're using the Apple Photos app. And PhotoMine is an app to scan pictures and slides and negatives. And it's an app that I think it's like $60 a year. Maybe there's, you know, specials online that you can get. So you most certainly can use PhotoMine on your phone to scan pictures. And it's really not a scan, it's taking a picture of a picture with their special software. And then you can save the photos to your camera roll. So I have an example here. On the left-hand side, whoops, we scooched it. Whoa, I have lost control of my slides. Let's carefully move that there. And this first screen, I have opened the PhotoMine app, and Krista printed us out pictures from our cruise, and I thought, well, I'll just try it with this photo. So on the left-hand side, I've opened the PhotoMine app, and I'm getting ready to scan it. And the way you scan is you press the circle down and you hold it, and then PhotoMine scans it. And you can see in the middle section here, this is the resulting scan. So PhotoMine has software to try and improve your picture, to account for the curving and the glare, you know, but it almost seems like my picture has a different glare here than it did in the photo here. So you're gonna not get as good of quality of a scan from PhotoMine as if you put it on a flatbed scanner or even through the Epson Fast Photo high-speed scanner. However, it's good enough in a lot of cases, and I'm actually pretty impressed. I think the colors are way more brighter than the actual picture, which I have it right here. Which, let's see if I just do, let's just do this real quick and see if this works. So here's the picture, and it was printed from a photo printer, which is a really good one. And so I think it actually did a pretty good job, except for the glare, which PhotoMine does sell lighting kits on Amazon. You can go to the PhotoMine store and get a better setup. I just put it on the floor and tried to avoid the overhead lighting here. So now that the photo is taken or scanned, there is this little share icon at the top of PhotoMine, and then you can click that, and then you have the option to just save the selected photo. All right, so you just save it and it shows up in your camera roll, and it works pretty nice. I'm partial, but I like to have a regular scan of it or the original digital picture, which I think Krista's getting it for me. So I'm going to just show you kind of the difference. So here's the photo mine. I cropped it so that I could get rid of the glare for the most part and the decoration of the print. I cropped it. And when I blow it up, you can see it's not as clear of a picture as maybe you would want. Like I don't think I would make a 8x10 of this because it's not as clear of a picture. The photo on the right is a little bit different photo. It was the other day that we went. This is the actual digital photo. And if I actually scanned this picture, I would get a better version of it. But in a pinch, like, it's just great to have the pictures. So the answer to Debbie's question is yes, you can use PhotoMine. And I've actually used it for, I've tried using it for slides, and I'm usually disappointed. The reason why we would use it for slides here at Pixology is just because we want to have a better quality scan. And occasionally slides come in and they're warped really badly and they won't fit in our Nikon scanner. So I was trying PhotoMine to just scan it, and it was a terrible quality. So I think PhotoMine's really useful, but if you're looking for a higher quality output, I wouldn't go that route. But in a pinch, certainly it's a great thing. In fact, we have used PhotoMine for large oversized items that you couldn't scan real easily even on a flatbed. So those are the things that I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm pretty sure I just had those two questions. And now I am open for any questions that you might have. I see Dolores has been uploading negatives over the last few days, which is great. And I wondered, Dolores, how did you do that? Negatives, there are really great negative options out there. Forever is obviously digitizes them, but I know I'm gonna just put this up here, the Wolverine slide scanner and negative scanner is a great option for people who want to do it themselves without the expense of a flatbed scanner that has the dual light source. So I'll just share my screen and show you this. Here we are. So this Wolverine, it has the ability even to do, this is the film to digital converter. Let's just see what it all does. Sometimes they can do all of the types. So there's the negatives, and let me just shut off Dolores here. Thank you and good for you for working on that. So here it does negatives, and it just saves the pictures to a camera card. The quality's pretty good, for sure. Oh, hey, Dolores is using the Wolverine from Amazon. Yep, you can get this on Amazon. So let's just see what else it does. So you can connect it to a television to view if you wanted, the HDMI. And then this is an older type adapter, but here a camera card would go in. And the nice thing is it'll come with grids, that you could use, that you have to use. So good to know. Oh, and Dolores says hers is blue. So if we just go to Amazon.com and then just search for slide, and let's just search for Wolverine. Anytime that you are looking for, a device from Amazon, I always like to look at the reviews and make sure that, you know, we've got a lot of good reviews. Krista has used the Kodak slide and scan. That just does the negatives and slides. What I do like is that you can get extra slide trays if you're going to do this yourself. So just a few ideas on how you can scan your own negatives and slides. All right. And I want to say hi to Stephanie. Thank you so much for popping in here tonight. Hi to Karen. Always good to see you. And that's pretty much what I had to cover for tonight. I have lots of little things going on here at Pixology, including some client projects that we're wrapping up, and just getting back from the cruise. I didn't have as full of a program as some of the other nights that we've been here together, but this is your time to ask a question, and I'm going to just remind people that you want to work on saving February's photos. And whether or not you use Forever or another provider, or even just folders on your computer, the best habit is to save your photos monthly so that at the end of the year you can look back and have 12 months of folders and easily make a photo book or the calendar for next year. All right, I'm saying hi to Jim too. I think you might have just joined, or maybe you've been here a little bit. Okay, you guys, we are probably gonna wrap up here. I always like to tell people in my community and in my classes, if you don't have questions, I'm wondering if you're working on your pictures and saving them in some way. Questions arise when you start doing the work, and I know that it's really hard, and I teach a lot of people over the years, and sometimes I never see them again. And I hope it's not because I overwhelm them. I'm just so enthusiastic about helping people save their photos, and I'm okay with being the weird one in my family to snap those pictures and save the memories. And I didn't mean to say I'm weird, because we're not weird. We just love our family memories. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. Next week we are off, and then on March 12th, which is 2 weeks, we'll be having our Forever question and answer. For those of you who are using Forever, it's a great time to see what's new. And then March 19th will be our next live with Mollie. So if you have any questions in the meantime, you can email me or post them here, and I'll answer them. And I just kind of kept going there because I thought maybe there would be another question. And Dolores has popped one in here. Dolores is asking about having more than one manager. And I happen to know Dolores is a Forever a client of mine, and you can have more than one account manager for your Forever account. The account managers are allowed to manage your account, including adding, you know, details like descriptions and tags, and managing your account overall. The only thing an account manager can't do is delete pictures. And you know, the pros and cons to having more than one account manager, and I'm gonna just trying to think of like how I can show this. I'm gonna just share my screen, and I am the account manager for my daughter. Okay, so you can see over in the top right here, this little icon means it's my account, and I can click manage this account, and now I'm actually able to go into her account and work in it. All right. This works really well for people who have, you know, a daughter, like in my situation, my son would never be an account manager, but when you have 2 daughters or more family members, it can get a little sticky. And you could have, you could make 3 people be account managers. Will they work over you or work over each other and change things? Will they agree on the things that you want to do? That's a little bit up in the air. You'd have to really think about that. Eventually, I expect that Forever is going to really expand upon the connections and account managers so that we can divvy up a little bit more of who can manage what. But I would talk with your family, and deciding who should be the account manager versus just being a connection. Because if you're a connection, you can still view everything, you can still download, but you can't be editing pictures. So it's kind of food for thought for you. Okay, and I'll just mention Hannah was on the cruise with us, and she's a birder like me, so she went and got some photos of some birds. I'm trying to see here. This is the black and white warbler. No, it's a blue, oh my gosh, we really need to type that in there. It's a new warbler for us. It's like blue-throated black warbler, or maybe it was the black-throated blue warbler. And see how I can edit that for her? She doesn't even know I'm doing this, but I can edit that for her. If you have, cousins that might add information to family photos, that could be a reason. So I'm going to just stop managing Hannah's, and I'm going to go to my albums, and I'm going to go into like this family history album. So let's just say I wanted my cousins to go in and, identify people. They would have to be an account manager to edit. And I'm not really swift on letting other people be in my account other than my daughter. All right, so hopefully that helps you, Dolores. All right. And oh yeah, the different family sides. Yeah, that's the trick. You're going to have to kind of ponder that. Sometimes, you think that the other people will help you with managing your pictures, and it doesn't always work that way. You can make it be an account manager, and maybe you just say you have until the 30th to edit the descriptions and then turn them back to a connection. That is an option. You could do it for a shorter period of time. So hopefully that helps. All right, you are welcome. All right, and I am going to just say that Karen also has, I believe, the Wolverine, an older version. Ours is pretty old here too, so that's good to know. And Debbie is here from Roanoke, Virginia. So we have people coming from quite a few areas and joining in. All right, now I will officially close our Live with Mollie for tonight, and we're off next week. In 2 weeks we have a specific Forever question and answer call, and then the 19th I will be back here answering more questions, and I'm going to come up with another good topic to share. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we will see you the next time. Take care. Bye-bye.